Now, we have a right, I'll have to digress for a minute. One of the things I think we need to take a look at is, what is the proper function of the state? And that becomes important because the question really is, what are those things that we agree that the state should be able to use coercion against us? Coercion, including lethal coercion. What are the things that the policeman who we hire and give a gun to, what are the things we want him to use that gun for? That's a pretty serious decision, because that means they can use it on us too. So we have to give some thought to that, and nobody ever gives any thought to that. They figure, well, we hired him, so therefore that'll all turn out fine. No, it doesn't turn out fine at all. So in my view, the proper function of the state, or the proper function of lethal force, if necessary, is limited to only those things that an individual himself could use lethal force for. Because we assume in our part of the world that the proper function of the state is derived from the consent of the citizens. And we'd like to believe that. And it should be that way, I believe. And if that's true, well, then that means that the state can only do those things which the citizens themselves can do. Because if the state gets its power from the citizens, and the citizens don't have the power to do something, they can't delegate that to the state. So that means that the state is limited to the use of lethal force, to the same things and only the same things that an individual can use lethal force for. Now we come closer to your question, which is, well, what are they? Well, that's in defense of life and liberty. I don't think very many people would say it was unethical or immoral to use lethal force or physical force against another human being in the defense of their own life or their own freedom. They don't want to be slaves, they don't want to be killed. And so most people would say, well, they had it coming, they were trying to kill this poor bugger, and he fought back. So there you have it. I think it's so simple and so clear that we have that right, and therefore we can delegate the right to use lethal force to the state in the defense of our lives and liberty, but nothing more. It's a big door that should be closed right there. We have no other justification for the use of violence ourselves, so therefore our lawful state should be limited to those things also. So now, where does that lead us? In terms of property? Now, why is property important? It's because not all property is important, but certain types of property, we have a right to use force on others to protect and defend. And what's the difference between the two? If we don't get that difference, it's mushy, because it's obvious that if somebody's trying to take away your liberty or your property or your house, or if you're in a primitive society and you finally dug a little dugout and made a little hut and you're living in there, and somebody comes along and tries to take you out of the hut and they want your hut and you fight back, it's justified. Why? Because you need that hut to protect your life. You need to be protected against the shelter, and you might need the tools that are in there, so that a hoe or a rake or something so you can plant food. You need those certain things to survive for your life and your liberty. Now, you don't need a pencil for that, so I can see its justification. You can fight to defend your home and your life, but you can't use violence to punish somebody because they stole your pencil, for example. That's way off the chart. So now we have to come to this decision of there are two kinds of property. One I would call intrinsic, which means necessary for the protection of life and liberty. And then the other is convenience property. Now, that's why we have courts, for us, to decide which is which and where the dividing line is. There's got to be a gray area, of course, in the middle. But the principle, nevertheless, is clear. When we say that property rights are a human right, we're not necessarily talking about the little things. We're talking about the essential things for your defense of your own life and your own liberty. So that's why property is important, because if you don't have property, you cannot defend yourself and your liberty. And that's it. It's a simple thing. Now, you don't have to go beyond that. You get into literary rights and so forth. Those are gray areas where you might need to go to court. But the principle is that property rights are a human right, and they cannot be denied because they're the same right to life and liberty.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom.